Hey, my friend, how's it going? It's been a while. I hope that our time together is both fun and thought provoking. I do very sincerely and very genuinely hope that our time together here, in addition to being fun and thought provoking, I hope it finds you well. So, whatever you're doing now here in the month of June, hopefully things are going reasonably well. Yes, it has been some time since we last reunited. I believe it was probably about 2 weeks ago or so, maybe like June 10th, maybe. In any event, today is Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. And so the question that I have been asking myself lately is whether or not we may find ourselves in a situation where shares of Stronghold Digital Mining finally explode. And the catalyst for that explosion, which can sound a bit ominous, I don't mean explosion in the sense of self-destruction, but rather liftoff, right? Where we really start to see shares catapult higher, and what could be a catalyst for that? We already know that there's this underlying catalyst which was introduced on May 2nd, 2024. So what happened on May 2nd, 2024? What you and I had been talking about sort of informally behind the scenes a little bit, right? Well, not so much behind the scenes in front of the camera, but still somewhat on the lowdown, was this idea, right, that Stronghold Digital Mining was in play. And May 2nd, 2024, it kind of went from being something that we were just talking about somewhat informally to something that was out there in the open, inescapable, unavoidable, as obvious as the shining sun in the sky, right? It was just right there. So now the market has that to contend with. Now, the catalyst that up until that point in time had kind of been, arguably, right, one of the bigger catalysts at play was whether or not Stronghold Digital Mining would have the Scrubgrass project, right? The Scrubgrass, mine waste to energy facility, right? The carbon capture project being built at that particular facility, whether or not that project would get positive treatment by the Puro Earth Registry, which is owned by NASDAQ, which would mean that then suddenly the carbon that is being captured as part of the project at Scrubgrass, that carbon would essentially become transactable, right, in the form of carbon removal credits, which then Stronghold Digital Mining could then market, right, the success of that project, the fact that it's been listed on the Puro Earth Registry, go out into the marketplace and say, hey, you know what, we're transactable now. We're going to go into the future market. We're going to see if we can go ahead and sell, a vast quantity of these credits for future delivery. And that's something that exists now. Like, in other words, right, that mechanism would not be something that Stronghold Digital Mining is creating from thin air, but rather it's already a mechanism that's in place and that a lot of other companies have the opportunity to tap into were they to choose that path. So the timing of a potential announcement that the Scrubgrass project is accepted, presumably accepted, you never know, could be rejected, but presumably accepted into the Puro Earth Registry, that it meets the Puro Earth standard. It's one of the highest standards on planet Earth. It's an incredibly robust level of due diligence that's required to be approved, right? For a project to be approved, to be listed on this, this exchange, so to speak. So, to the extent Scrubgrass is able to achieve that designation, it's a really big deal. And some are speculating that any potential acquisition of some or all of Stronghold Digital Mining's assets could conceivably be contingent upon, the Scrubgrass project gaining this, approval to be listed on the Puro Earth Registry, which at that point would really basically be saying, yes, this is for real. This isn't pseudoscience. It's not alchemy, right? We're not inventing stuff, right? This isn't like some fabrication. No, hey, it's real, right? We are able to capture carbon from the air, which is phenomenal for the environment, phenomenal for planet Earth, and phenomenal, arguably, for shareholders of Stronghold Digital Mining. Okay. So is that where we're at, right? Are we at the point now where nothing has been put in writing, but perhaps, right, hey, through legal, through counsel, through, informal conversations that have taken place, it's been, sort of like indicated, hey, we could very well be very interested, but let's see what happens with Puro Earth. If you guys get listed on there, let's talk some more, right? See, that kind of thing. Now, the stock price has been doing quite well as of late. Now, it's interesting, as I'm creating this broadcast, the day started off with shares of Stronghold Digital Mining. Just, really, it seemed as if though we were gaining, sort of like escape velocity a little bit, right? Over, what is it, like almost like 1.3 million shares traded. It's about almost 4 o'clock, so markets will be closing soon. So, the question was, hey, is this it? Is this liftoff? Or, right, are we finally now starting to, catapult higher? And there's been a pretty significant reversal starting at about 11 o'clock this morning, and now shares are nosediving, right? There's no other way to say it. Am I concerned by that? Of course not. Of course not. I mean, this stock price is like a roller coaster. I mean, if you've been involved with Stronghold Digital Mining for any length of time, okay, that your knuckles and hands are just raw from trying to hold on, right? As this stock has just gyrated in ways that are sometimes quite profoundly scary. You know what I mean, right? I think we had a 52-week low of about $1.50 or so, give or take a little bit. I mean, you really start to think, is this it? Are we literally at this point going to nosedive right into the ground and hit zero? Right? But as of yet, that has not happened. I know there are a lot of individuals and companies and, right, short sellers and other entities and individuals and organizations that are absolutely convinced, 1,000% convinced that shares of Stronghold Digital Mining have but one destiny, and that destiny is to go to zero. And, hey, never say never, but as of today, Stronghold Digital Mining has defied the doomsayers. Stronghold Digital Mining has executed, I think, enormously well. Imagine just to keep yourself motivated to want to show up to work when your stock price is just a disaster sometimes, when the media seems completely fixated on your demise and destruction. Right? When Wall Street has all but given up on the company, it's pretty natural to start looking in the mirror and to start wondering, maybe they're right. Maybe there's something fundamentally flawed with us as a company. Maybe there's something fundamentally wrong with us. But yet to be able to, on a day-to-day basis, roll up one's sleeves, get to work, focus on the job at hand, focus on execution, right? Hey, the guys in New York, the guys and gals in New York, they're going to do what they're going to do in terms of deal making. Those of us here on the ground in Pennsylvania doing the day-to-day hard work of reclamation, we're going to just focus on that. We're going to try to get the job done. Hey, the folks that are in the data centers trying to keep these Bitcoin mining machines operational, healthy, right? You got to just focus on that. I have a very, 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 very high degree of confidence and faith that time will vindicate this process, and that Stronghold Digital Mining, to the extent it ceases to be an independent entity, will find a home that, we're in. Hey, the mine waste to energy process can hopefully continue, right? And that these amazing data centers, these world-class, state-of-the-art, multi-million dollar data centers can be put to good use, be it mining Bitcoin, be it machine learning, artificial intelligence, or anything else for which incredible amounts of stable, reliable electricity is needed. So that's kind of where we're at, all right? As I said before, I've been very, very strategically silent. I mean, trust me, I'd be out here doing 4 broadcasts a day if I genuinely felt that that is in fact what was needed to help push any sort of deal over the finish line, okay? There's very little I wouldn't do to help that process happen, okay? But I do think that it's important that we allow the process to play out. We're going to be finding out probably in the next 2 weeks or so what June's Bitcoin production numbers look like. It is the end of the second quarter at the end of June. I anticipate sometime in August, we will, of course, have an investor presentation. But before then, I also anticipate that we're going to probably hear more about our status with Puro Earth and whether or not we're going to be on the registry. And I do think that there's a very high probability that once that takes place, if it takes place, that we get listed on the registry. I think it opens the door then for any deals that are already kind of sort of operating, kind of like going in slow motion on the sidelines. I think we may see an acceleration in conversations. We may see a situation where it's like best and final offer time, right? That kind of thing. I will say this. I saw an article on CNBC on their website not long ago, maybe about a week ago, maybe a little bit less than that, where it talked about big tech, however you want to define that. Is that the Magnificent Seven? Is it, I don't know what big tech means in the context of a story like this, but it seems as if, though, big tech, however you want to define it, is obsessed with the need for electricity to power data centers. Absolutely obsessed. But the article also mentions that big tech seems equally obsessed with solar power. Not wind, not anything else, right? Just solar power. So I am not entirely convinced that Stronghold Digital Mining and its array of incredibly valuable assets is necessarily, if one is to believe the CNBC article, is necessarily the best fit for a so-called big tech company. It may, however, as a friend to these broadcasts, Mr. Dan Osterman, has pointed out on numerous occasions, the assets of Stronghold Digital Mining may very well be of interest to an entity that is already, arguably, doing things that is sort of like the opposite of what big tech seems to be interested in. I believe the company's name is Alliance Resource Partners. Check them out. And you tell me if you think that particular company and Stronghold Digital Mining would be a merger made in heaven. So let us wait and see what happens next. Okay, my friend, I truly do hope you're doing well. If things haven't been going so well, take it day by day. There's always tomorrow. Hopefully, things get a little bit better for you, right? Okay, my friend, we will speak again in the not too distant future. Until then, let's stay positive, let's be great, and we will see each other again soon.